How did you spend your time there?
Oh, it was miserable. It was very miserable. We cleaned the barracks, and the transport which went to Auschwitz, they always took them away that they made room for the other ones. So we took together the clothing and we packaged it and we did things. It was always something to do, which it was wonderful because otherwise you could go insane.
So who gave you jobs there? Who
All
was in charge?
the Germans, I mean the Hungarians, that the Hungarians did.
Did you have a particular job there?
I was sorting the clothes, the sizes and the better ones and not so good ones, because everybody who came to the ghetto brought only the best, because they had plenty, even if it was Europe, but they still had plenty to wear. So everybody brought the best. And they all needed only one outfit to go to Auschwitz. Even that was taken away.
So as you're packing these clothing items, where are you putting them? Are they going into boxes?
They
or?
to boxes, and they came and they took it away. The Hungarians, they took it away. I don't know where they shipped it or for what they needed it, but they took it away because it was so much of it that it just cluttered the place.
Can you describe what the ghetto looked like?
It was a tremendous building. It was a brick factory. And all around the factory they built a big fence. The fence, I think, was built before they brought in already Jews there. Because we weren't the first transport there. There were a lot of people before us. We were, I think, the last one.
So where did you all sleep? Everybody slept in the same building?
In the same building, in the same building. Everything was in the same building, in the same room. It was no picnic. No.
And each family got their own room, or you slept a few families together?
If it was a bigger room, then we slept the whole family together. Depends how big the room was. So that's how it was.
Might have been done while you were in the ghetto. Was there anything that Hungarians did to the Jews?
No, they just watched them that they shouldn't run away, and that's all. They were waiting from the Germans what to do with them. There was nothing absolute. Nobody tried from the ghetto to escape because there was no way, and that's all. And we knew that we are going to go on a place where it's going to be worse than the ghetto.
Did you ever receive any mail or letters from anybody from the outside?
No.
Were you able to send any letters out?
No.
Tell me about the deportations. What do you remember about the first deportation that went out from the ghetto?
From the ghetto?
In other words, you were working in the ghetto because people were being...
We didn't know nothing was going on. Whoever left the ghetto, we didn't know absolute nothing. Where those people went, what they did to them, absolute nothing. So we were getting ready to go. They told us that they are going to come and they are going to put us in trains, and we are going to go to a very nice place, and we are going to be all together, and it will be beautiful. Promises. We knew that it cannot be any more beautiful.
Who told you that? Was it through a leaflet or a paper?
No. There was always people, the Hungarians were always there, and if we wanted to ask them something, they told us, but they never told us what we want, about the truth, just what we wanted to know.
Do you remember any of the names of who was in charge there?
No.
Tell me about your family's deportation from the ghetto.
We went all together. We went all in one open train, what they usually the cattle train. It was a cattle train. All of us together. My parents, my siblings, my aunt, my uncle, and as many people as there was room to put in. Everybody was standing like this, just standing, because there was no other thing. And they put us in those cattle trains, and we didn't took any luggage because they said that they will send us the luggage, so we didn't need the luggage.
Did you pack luggage beforehand?
Sure. Oh, sure. Of course. We needed the high heels and we needed all those nice things because we were so naive. We didn't know what's waiting for us. And we were traveling a whole night and 2 days. I'm not exactly sure, something like that.
Do you know the date, approximate date?
Approximate date is 2 days before Schwimmer, we arrived to the concentration camp to Auschwitz. I don't know.
Before Schwimmer?
Before Schwimmer, because then when we have your site, that's how we know exactly.
What were the conditions inside the car, the cattle
Terrible.
car? Can you describe that?
It was like animals, it wasn't like human beings there. First of all, we had no facility to go to a bathroom. There was a barrel put in, and that's where people went to the bathroom. There was no air. It was closed, the cattle train. There was just a little window with a little bar, and that's all there was. And it was just terrible, just terrible. There were old people, there were young children, there was no food, there was nothing to drink, absolute nothing. So we just waited until we finally get to our destination.
What were people saying to each other in the
People
car?
somehow knew that this is the end of us. A lot of people knew. They said, if we survive, then we will see each other. If no, just hold on and just be brave, and that's all. Everybody just, it was friends. We were together with friends. We had boyfriends. My brothers and girlfriends, and you just had to say goodbye because you never knew if you will come back.
Did you have a boyfriend in the car?
I did have a boyfriend, yeah.
What was his name?
His name was Willie.
And what did Willie tell you?
He said that he will come back. I should hold on and he will come back, but he never came back. He never came back.
What were some of the things that your parents might have said to you?
My parents didn't say nothing. They didn't say nothing. They were so taken by the they couldn't believe that a thing like that can happen. They weren't youngsters. So for older people to go through such a terrible ordeal, it was unbelievable. It was just unbelievable. They didn't say nothing. They didn't say nothing.
How many people were in the car?
Oh, yeah, a lot of people. A lot of people. I cannot tell you exactly, but it was over 50. We were like herrings, as many as they could put in. We were standing there.
Were you able to sit down at all?
No.
How did people sleep? If it's two days.
Nobody slept. Nobody slept.
Did they tell you where you were going?
They said we are going to Germany. Yeah, and when we heard that we are going to Germany, then we already knew what is waiting for us. Not so much like we went through, but we knew that it's not going to be some place in the Catskills to have a good time. But it was a million times worse than we ever thought.
So when you get to your destination,
When we got to our destination, then it was very, very bitter. When they started to divide, the parents in one side, old people in the other side, and whoever had little children in the third side, and whoever was able, they let them, young people, people who can work, another side. And everybody was just hysterical, but there was nothing to do. Somebody didn't want to go, so they killed them, they shot them right there. So it was the worst thing that anybody can imagine. And me, as I went through it, I don't believe it that a human being can survive a thing like that. It's unbelievable. And that only was the beginning. That was only the beginning. Of all the good things, that was the beginning.
the car doors open.
They took us out, and right away they started to divide.
What are they saying?
In German, they were saying here and there, and you Schwein, and you this, and you that. They were very phlegmatic, and they were very rough, and they were animals.
Did you see anybody that you recognized? In other words,
Sure, my aunt, My aunt was a young woman and she had 5 children. And I asked her, please give the children to somebody else and come with us, but she didn't want to. So she never survived because she went with the children in the crematorium.
So at the point that the lines are being divided, you know already. How did you know?
Well, because everybody said that in the train already we were talking that the old people, but we didn't know that they're so fast. The old people who cannot work, they put them in one lager. And the mothers with the little children, they put in the second lager. And us, the people who can work, in the third lager. So there will be 3 lagers. And then they are going to see what they will do with us. But when they started to divide the old and the sick and the little ones, then we already knew something is very wrong.
Did your parents say anything to you?
No, no.
A wave?
A wave, yeah, a wave. A wave.
And in what direction were they taken?
They were taken in our opposite direction than we went because us they took to like a shower room, and they stripped us, they cut off our hair, and they took everything from us, and they gave for a large person a small dress, for a small person a large dress. If they liked the shoes, they took away and they gave us wooden shoes, and that was our outfit for the year. So, but we had no brainer. This is what we went. And when we came to Auschwitz, finally, you know, when we were already after the showers, after everything, they took us to the Seelager. The Seelager was a lager where they selected, every single day selected people out and took them to the crematorium. So how do we know that there was a crematorium and what? It was like a I don't even know, like a long house. In the middle was an oven. In the middle of the house was an oven. From the 2 sides there were three flats of beds. In each bed there were 5 people, so 15 people in each. But it was very long. And by the end of that barrack, they called it barrack. We were in the barrack 22. And when we at night we didn't had already what to do. We were very sick and we were very upset. So we went in the back, and then we saw how they brought with the trucks naked people screaming. And right there was the crematorium, and you could smell the flesh burning and everything. And you didn't know which is your parents, which truck your parents are, or your loved ones, or somebody else's. It was all Jews. It was all So it was very, very tough and very hard. There we were on for 6 months. We were in Seelager. We had from a piece of bread, like a pound of brick that was cut in 5 portions. That was for the 24 hours, the bread. In the morning, they gave us a little warm water, like coffee. And for lunch, they gave us some soup. The soup was made out of garbage. The peels from onions, the peels from potatoes, whatever. And for night, for the 3 times a day a meal they give us. And for night, they give us again something to eat, but very, very little. And that's how we lived for 6 months with that food. We didn't do nothing. They were, every time we were standing in the Seelapel, and they were counting, and always was somebody missing. And they were, Mengele came, every single day was Mengele there, and he took out always this one and that one. And we knew, when they took out, we knew that at night we are going to see them to the crematorium. That's what it was, exactly.
Did you ever have any personal conversation or experience with Mengele?
No, no, no. You couldn't have it in any conversation. No, no. It was very, very rough. It was very tough.
Can you describe the first day in Seelager?
The first day was just, you know, everybody said that this is not human. You cannot survive like that because first of all, we didn't have where to keep clean. We didn't have a piece of soap. We didn't have a towel. We didn't have nothing. No toothbrush, nothing. Nothing. So how can you live like that? Even if we came from a primitive country, it's still the primitive country was like a palace and everything like a palace for coming here to Auschwitz. But it was, we survived. We survived.
How
We
were you
kept-
able to survive?
Well, we kept each other entertained, and we talked stories, and we cooked. Constantly we cooked. We could have made about 20 recipe books because we were constantly cooking. When you're hungry, then you cook. It was a home how we used to cook. We talked about it. Not that we did, because we couldn't, but we talked about cooking all the time. That kept us alive. And we were together, 5 sisters, and on the other bed was 5 cousins. So we were all constantly together, and nobody took from nobody a piece of bread, because usually they took away from each other breads. Daughters took away from mother the bread, mother took away from daughter the bread. People weren't human anymore, because it wasn't a life that you can say this is a life. That was a torture, and it was very difficult. It was very difficult.
Out of
Very
all the
difficult.
sisters and cousins, who was the one that was in charge or the leader or
No
supported?
leaders, no leaders. There were Slovakish girls, they were the leaders from Slovakia. They were there from 39, from 40. They were already the pros in the lager. So they made them, why should the Gestapo do this and that for the Jews? Let one Jew for the other do things. So they were horrible. They were horrible.
Tell me about that.
Well, they were constantly yelling at us, and they were afraid for their positions. So they were very, very rough. They were very rough, and there was nothing to do. It's not that you can do something or you have a book or whatever. God forbid, no book, nothing, nothing. All we did was talk, 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 and that's all. And at night we used to sit in the back of the barrack and watch the trucks take people to the crematorium. Screaming, naked, everybody, terrible, just terrible. It's unbelievable. I was there, and I don't believe it that it happened, all right? So how can you believe it, or how can anybody believe that it can happen like that?
Now
In 1944, it's not 200 years ago, it's just not so long ago, 50 years ago.
Now, the Slovakian girls, were they Jewish?
Jewish, sure they were Jewish.
Did anybody ever harm you or beat you?
Well, if we didn't obey the rules and regulations, sure we were beaten.
You personally?
Me personally, no, because I was always there whenever I had to be. I was a good girl there because I don't know why I wanted to survive. I don't know why, but I wanted to survive.
Was there any resistance in the bunker?
Not in the ghetto.
Not in
I
the
mean,
camp.
not in the Seelager. Resistance war underground, but you see, when we went from Auschwitz, they took people all around, and there was a Mauthausen, and there was all kind of ghettos, a lot of ghettos. And they took these people in those ghettos and they tortured them, and there they resisted. Not in Auschwitz.
So in
Auschwitz,
your particular
no,
bunk,
no.
did anybody try to escape?
No, because there was nowhere to go, just nowhere to go. Nobody could escape.
So for 6 months, they did not give you any job.
No.
Tell me
No.
about the appels.
The appels, we had to go out and 5 in a row, and they used to count us. And always somebody was missing. And they used to count, and they said with a bullhorn, until everybody is not accounted for, we are not going to go in the barracks. It was January. We had the wooden shoes with no hair, with one little dress. That was our outfit. And we
How
had
long
to
would
stay.
you stand?
Oh, 2 hours, 3 hours, as long as it took. as long as it took. So it was,
And at this point, you know already what happened to the rest of your family.
oh yes, oh yes, oh yes.
After 6 months, what year are we now in, and what month?
That was in October, October of 44. They took us to Gleiwitz. Gleiwitz was a working lager, and that was already a paradise for us because we had food. They gave us food. We worked overnight. It was an ammunition factory. And there they took us away from our sisters, from our two sisters. My little two sisters were still there. And the three of us went together.
Which
because,
three?
The one who died, and Blanche and me, because my other older sister, she was in a different lager. She wasn't with us in Auschwitz. So we went there, and they gave us the number, the tattooation number.
What was your number?
The number was 25511.
Tell me about the transport from Auschwitz to the next camp.
Nothing. They took us in open trucks and took us. That was nothing. We were very happy to live there because it couldn't be any worse. There was too much going on in that. That was a Vernichtungslager, if you know what that means. It's Vernichtungs mean that destroyed. Everybody was destroyed there. So everybody was very happy to live there and go someplace else. So when we came to Ravensbrück, Gleiwitz, that was wonderful. That was wonderful. They gave us a number, and we worked on night shifts, and they gave us food like normal people, and they gave us places to sleep. We weren't 100 people in one room. We were about 20 in one room, which it was wonderful, and we were able to keep clean. It was wonderful, but it didn't last too long. It didn't last too long. We were there only till January.
Did anybody try to escape from there?
No.
Was there any resistance going on?
No.
Were you able to keep any religious rituals in the camp?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Did you see anybody else trying to keep any religion?
Not between the girls so much. I had a cousin. She was with us, and she was very, very religious. She was a Satmar Hosset. And she had somebody gave her from another lager, somebody gave her a Tilamel, and she was always looking at that, and she davened and everything, but nobody saw it, nobody cared about. And we said, no, we don't even wanna think about being religious. For what? If you see that your parents, who were such religious people, who were so good, who were such wonderful human beings, and what happened to them. So we didn't believe anymore in religion.
What was your cousin's name that got the Tehillim?
Ruzi Goldstein.
And she was able to maintain her
with
faith?
us. Yes, she was. She was trying as much as she was able to. She wasn't able to do it all the way either because she had to be very careful that nobody should see that she has a little book. Because if they find, then they take away from her for the bread and then food and everything. They punish. That was the first thing, the punishment.
Were you ever punished?
No, I wasn't punished. I went along with them. Whatever they did, it was good for me.
Who was in charge of you there? Was it do you know any of the names of the commandants? Or
Where there was in Auschwitz, there were Häftlings. They were also people who came to the concentration camps, but they came early. So the Germans made them like block else the head of the blocks, and they did a lot of work there. But they were very rough, but they were roughed up also.
do you know their names?
No names. There were no names. Everybody went just by the number, no names.
And in Gleiwitz?
And Gleiwitz the same thing. Gleiwitz
What
the
type of
same
work
thing.
did you do there?
There was a factory of gunpowder, so that's what we did.
And what exactly was your position there? What did you
Well,
do?
we were that the way they showed us once or twice the way the powder has to boil or to burn in the oven, and when it's ready, and so on, so on. So that's what we did there. Yeah.
At the end of your work day, how did you spend your
At the
time?
end of our work day, we worked about 12, 14 hours a day. Then we were transported to a place where we lived, and they gave us dinner. And then everybody was so tired that we didn't need nothing, just to lay down, because it's a whole day stand on your feet. And we weren't used to it, because in Auschwitz we didn't do nothing, absolute nothing.
Was there any type of art that went on, or any kind
No,
of
no,
other activities?
No activities, no activities, absolute no activities, nothing, nothing. We were just waiting in the morning that we have to get up and we have to go to work, that's all, that's all. And sometimes we went at 12 o'clock to work, and we worked at overnight, a whole night, whatever, whenever they needed us.
Do you know of any personal relationships that you might have had with anybody in any of the camps in
No.
Auschwitz or
No.
Gleiwitz?
No,
You didn't form any close
I
relationships?
didn't know.
Did you
No.
see any homosexual relationships in the
No.
camps?
No, 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 not
And
at
in-
all.
And in Gleiwitz, you were there from when till when?
In Gleiwitz we were from October until January.
January 45.
Yeah, January 45, from Gleiwitz, they put us again in trains, in opened trains, not in closed trains, opened. And for 2 weeks, they were taking us from one place to the other. Where we were, I don't know. But they said,